You need something to distract you from that end of the stick, which usually means pick up another stick. Pick up another stick, a stick that you're already on the good feeling end of. And then from the good feeling end of one stick, you can get to the good feeling end of another stick. Ooh, that's big. It's so much easier to pick up the good feeling end of a stick and then move to the good feeling end of another stick, because they are in the same vibrational genre, than to start on a subject where you are trained or have trained yourself to be on the not good feeling end of the stick and then drag your way up the emotional scale. It's so much easier. So in a really practical sense, what sticks are easy for you to feel good?
Put me in the spot. I'm a healer, so I love what I do. That's a positive stick.
That's big. That's big.
I love to travel. I just manifested a trip to the Bahamas, everything paid for, unlimited food in a 5-star resort. So that was
Wait. You mean? Are you telling us that the money stick was irrelevant?
No, I have.
Yes, you are.
A
huge
amount of debts.
But you're going on a trip where money was irrelevant. It's paid for. Did you say it was paid for?
Yes. And I would like to manifest that as a career, to do that constantly, to get paid to go to Bahamas.
But wait a minute. Why are you messing up a perfectly good stick with reality? Why are you not letting that fantastic end of that fantastic stick, why are you not isolating that and focusing on it and letting it be a bigger part of your vibrational mix for a little while? Why are you returning to the other stick and the things that aren't working so easily? Because you're practical minded. But when you think about it in this context, you just demonstrated in a perfect example exactly what we were talking about as the method to bridge. Picked up another stick, it was already over there, and you were there for just a little bit before you messed it up. But you understand it, yes? Any other good feeling sticks? Or are we just getting greedy and selfish?
Traveling like here to North Carolina, to seminars. Traveling is a big stick of joy for me. Then the money gets introduced, so that is...
You picked up on just where we were going. Are there any sticks that feel really good that don't have the stench of money attached to them?
Puppies. Puppies.
Free puppies?
Yeah, just enjoying puppies, seeing puppies. It feels good. Little animals in the vortex.
Do you believe that there is a direct relationship from feeling the thrill and the sweetness of puppies and prosperity? Can you see?
I don't see it, but
You don't see it? So we want to draw it out. We want to paint it out for you. The puppy end of the stick and the wonderful travel to the Bahamas end of the stick are in the same vibrational vicinity of all of the money in the world that you'd ever want for anything. It's all over there together. It's all over there. It's all over there on that end of the stick. So can you see the correlation? Imagine a pile of sticks. This end feels really good, this end feels really bad, and you've chosen a stick that you feel really good on. Now you can just leap from stick to stick to stick to stick to stick to stick to stick. There's the relationship stick and the puppy stick and the Bahamas stick and the living happily ever after stick. All those sticks are over there, and you're already predisposed because of your focus on puppies to this end of the sticks. Why does anybody have any problems? Because you felt responsible about something that you're not responsible about. Really? It's that easy? Just find something delightful and be delighted, and then delightful things will come to me? That's it. Find something delightful and be delighted, and then delightful things will come to you.
So would that same methodology or formula work with my whole family dynamic?
No, they're on the other end of the stick.
So how do I bridge so I don't just ignore everybody for the rest of my life? I mean, I like
Yeah,
to.
you sort of do.
That's it?
Yeah, bye. Bite everything on that end of the stick. Oh, that implied that they only have that end of the stick. That implied that you don't love them when you do. There's that end of the stick in every one of them, but you're not stable enough to selectively sift that pile. You will be in really short order. Once you start approaching life vibrationally and emotionally, then that practice, then you'll be able to go anywhere, talk to anybody about anything. Somebody could innocently hack up your favorite tree. Arrogantly and innocently hack up your favorite tree. And if you've been on this end of the stick enough, you can say, things always work out for me. Things always work out for me. Things are always working out for me. I'm just not letting myself see it because I've chosen to be on the end of the stick that doesn't let me see it for a while. But when you're on this end and this end and this end, this good feeling end, after a while, even though of course contrast is going to take you there every now and then, but you don't stay there long. You don't define yourself by that end of the stick like your story makes your family sound. A lot of people get beaten down by life. They don't need to. It only takes a little bit of optimism to call them to the other end of the stick. Have you ever been in a situation where, now we're showing you how to selectively sift even on a stick that is pretty much leaning in a way that doesn't feel so good. Have you ever been around people, maybe several of them, that are complaining and grumpy and grouchy and being their usual unpleasant self, and then you begin playing a table game together or going to a sport event together or doing something that is a departure from what is normal and discovering humor in them that you didn't know was there and catching glimpses of them being tuned in. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever said to someone, boy, I didn't expect to hear that from you. I've labeled you as grouchy. I don't know how that clever thing got out in my expectation of you. Must have happened because I've been being positive about other things and you just slipped in. Which is our way of saying to you that a lot of the behavior that you see in others, you're asking for.
How so?
Because people will rise or lower to your expectation. So when you've labeled them as old, and Esther's taking that really personally, when you give someone a label, boy, that's a strong expectation. And it's not easy. Even if they are being delightful in a moment, you're going to miss it. This is an analogy that we like to offer. So imagine that you're watching television and all of the bad stuff that happened in this whole day has all been condensed into one moment of broadcast, and it goes zip on the screen. You say, what was that? And somebody says, that's all the negative stuff that happened in the day. You say, oh, well, sometimes that's all the good stuff you're going to get out of a relative. Zip. What was that? That was delight. That was delight. You just really tuned to it. You have to really watch for that delightful stuff because it comes and goes quick.
But what do you do in the process? You can't just ignore them for a couple months. They're constantly calling you, and then you want to elicit those. You
can't ignore them, but you can make something else more dominant. And eventually, in the same way that you've made other things more dominant, more positive ends of the stick more dominant than the negative end of that one stick. And after a little while, you will be so practiced at that then you will be a better selective sifter where you can find delightful moments. And the more you find them and emphasize them within yourself, then the more the universe must bring those aspects to the forefront of your relationship with them. Have you ever been assigned the responsibility of tending children that aren't your own and found them to be delightful when with others they have a totally different reputation? It's because the mix of you and them is different than the mix of them with someone else. Don't you find yourself sometimes being more delightful with some people than with others? Don't you say, that person brings out the best in me? And don't you say, that person brings out the worst in me? Well, isn't that about a vibrational mix? Well, we don't want you to be walking around looking for somebody to conditionally bring out the best in you, nor do we want you to assign yourself the responsibility of walking around and bringing the best out in others. We're just explaining to you how it works. And we want to say to you unequivocally, the way you bring the best out in others is by feeling great. And you can't help but to bring the best out in them. But if you say, okay, I'll pay the price of happiness so that I can bring the best out in someone, you've missed our point. But if you say, I would like to feel great, and the results of my feeling great more of the time will be this. So what we're really talking about here is being an actor in life rather than a reactor, being proactive rather than reactive, getting out ahead of it rather than knee-jerk responding to it, segment intending in a positive way rather than segment intending in a negative way.
So something specific, like I would love to move to LA and I'm not there yet. How would I bridge that gap? You're saying just using the side of the stick. So you're saying this side of the stick will bring everything I want, including the trip to LA, the new career where I'm traveling?
Yes, and here's why. Because through life, even if you've been poking around on the negative end of the stick, you've launched rockets of desires, and so everything that you want is in your vortex, and your inner being is tending all of it. So when you get over there in the vicinity of your vortex, and when you hang around where that vibration is, then what's in your vortex will show itself to you on all subjects. That is how it works. That is how it works.
So is there something specific, like for instance, I want this type of car, that I need to be doing, or just get here?
Here's the way we would approach that. The more it feels not likely to you, then the more general your statement is, the safer you are. If you're very specific about something that you don't believe you can get, then you're practicing the wrong end of the stick. If you're more general about it, you start creeping toward the other end of the stick. I like cars, and I like that commercial, and I like the stability of a good running car, and I like the feeling of a car, and I like the smell of a new car. I like being behind the wheel of a car. In other words, there's no resistance or negative attachment in any of that, unless you follow it up with, I like the smell of a new car and I'm never going to have one. The more stable you are, then the more detail you can focus on, and the faster the momentum will be. It's about knowing where you are before you put your foot on the gas. You don't want to go faster unless you know you're moving in the direction that you want to go. So general will get you feeling better. Specific will make you go faster. If you feel great, then be specific. If you don't feel so good, be general. Saying I'm going to live happily ever after, that doesn't get your juices flowing, and you've heard that so much that most people fight that. When you say, I'm getting good at this, and I understand the laws of the universe, I'm getting pretty clear about that, and I can see that law of attraction is my friend, and I sure do know that my inner being is my friend, and I really like the notion that I've put a lot in my vortex, and I like knowing that there is a vibrational reality, and that just because I can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it yet doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And sometimes I get a glimpse of it, I can feel it, and I like that light-hearted, happy-hearted feeling that sometimes I get. This is the way that we want to draw you into some really practical, beneficial focus.